away with lying about it, even though the admission was in deposition. So I have to worry a lot about, I know there are many members of this council that are very dedicated individuals, but I also know that there are many members of the body that don't even bother to show up. There are like phantoms, come in late, and so I want to make sure that we have a system in place that the public knows, that we don't have to trust that this board is going to do its job, that we know we have the right people. So I asked Lieutenant Governor to support the legislation that I filed, which adopts the Sunshine Bill, so that Massachusetts residents can have a transparent and accountable government in all three branches. Thank you very much.
One quick question. Have you ever, Mr. Machado, have you ever observed Judge Gants in court?
That's my point. No, I have not observed Judge Gants in court. My concern is
so you're not here to question his integrity, his temperament, his demeanor, or his legal skills. You're not here to question any of those. You've never observed.
Well, I don't know what's under the rug. That's what I'm saying to you.
You don't know anything to question.
I would like.
I understand, but just answer my question. If you could, help me out.
I think I did.
Okay, so you don't know anything. You're not here to question his integrity.
I think I am by virtue of questioning the process by which you've been nominated.
Even though you've never observed him in court. No further questions.
Absolutely. Thank you for your testimony. I just want to say that there is no similarity between Judge Secora and Judge Gants. Any judge that would allow people, as Judge Secora did, to have a jury dressed in costumes to increase a traffic post should not be there. And I voted against him, and I'm proud of that, but I don't like to see the same two people put in the same sentence, because there's absolutely no similarity.
I don't mean to do that. I guess my concern was the people that were speaking on his behalf, and the fact that particularly on Barbara Rouse promoted that sort of behavior up to the second highest court. I think that there's an embracing of that sort of erosion of judicial ethics. I think that it's not Melita Pachado complaining about it. It's the Monin report complaining about how Massachusetts residents go to court expecting that they're going to get prompt, efficient, and courteous justice, and in fact they get the opposite. I think you open the paper and Howie Carr says that we have a judiciary that is grotesquely corrupt, and I know it because I'm living it. So I worry about the people that are in power that are creating the system and not knowing what's under that rug with a candidate who seems to have a very lovely family and who I don't have any personal animosity against. I've lost my trust, and I think we need to have, and I think a lot of people have lost their trust, and I think we need a system that doesn't rely on such misplaced trust anymore. Thank you.
I appreciate the testimony, but I just want to say that we could go on for an hour about other things that really more severe than costumes that he allowed. So I just wanted to make that very clear. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you and your dad and others for coming forward, because I know it's difficult to come forward, especially for these type of hearings. I would like to say, how did you know about this hearing today? Did you see it in the paper?
Yeah, I heard about it, yeah.
And about a month ago, I recall, is when this nomination came due, and so we purposely have the hearing a month later on this important nomination because we wanted to get that word out. And so in the course of the past month, it has been publicized in the papers. I know in my district it is throughout all of the local media. So people do have an opportunity to come forward, and as part of this process, we do reach out, and it is very well publicized. So it is our intent and our duty, and what we do is to get information about a particular nominee. So I understand your particular frustrations, as we have heard about them day in and day out, but I do believe people have a fair opportunity to come forward and voice their opinions and their experiences of a particular nominee, including President.
I appreciate your thanks.
Thank you. We appreciate both of your thoughts and input on this process. My understanding, I just want to, for information purposes,
Governor, members of the council. I was profoundly honored to be nominated by the governor to serve as an associate justice of the Supreme Judicial Court, and I am equally honored to stand before this council today as you consider the question of all nomination. I also appreciate the time and care that each of you have taken in preparing for this hearing, and I look forward to answering any questions that you may have as best that I can. I find it difficult to talk about myself, and I am very grateful to my witnesses for taking some of that burden off of me. I would like, however, to take a few minutes of your time to tell you something about the people and the experiences that have placed their imprint upon me. I was not born into a family of lawyers. My dad sold wine, and was greatly admired in the wine industry in New York for his knowledge of wine. If you ever heard him explain how, in a blind tasting, he could discern from the taste of a particular glass of wine that it had come from a vineyard in Chile, you would have seen a power of deduction that would have impressed Sherlock Holmes himself. My mother worked first in a local clothing store and then spent the last 20 years of her life, of her working life, as a teacher's aide in her local school. She would certainly have become a teacher herself had she been able to go to Hunter College in New York City, where she was admitted, but instead she needed to work in her mother's clothing store to help make ends meet during the Depression. My older brother and I shared a bedroom in the four-room apartment in which we lived. He was plagued as a child by asthma, but by sheer determination and strength of will, managed to break the high school track record in the mile in his senior year. Now that you know that I am from New York, let me put to rest those scurrilous rumors. I am not and have never been a Yankees fan. For reasons not easily understood, since the Dodgers had left Brooklyn when I was 3 and my brother was 7, we were Dodger fans. He kept a Dodger scrapbook containing every news article in the Daily News and New York Times about the Dodgers from 1963 through 1965. I kept the autograph collection, which grew to include such heroes as Sandy Koufax and Roberto Clemente, and the less well-known Hall of Famer Max Carey, who with his signature gave me the sound advice, "You can't hit unless you swing." I joined Red Sox Nation around 1975 when Jim Rice, now a Hall of Famer, and Fred Lynn joined Carl Yastrzemski in the Red Sox outfield. I studied economics at Harvard College, but developed an interest in criminology in my senior year. I spent my senior year writing a thesis on the incapacitation effect of criminal sentencing, which examined how longer criminal sentences would affect the crime rate. And I told the professor for whom I worked part-time that I was going to law school rather than pursue a doctorate in economics. She said, "You're going to profit maximize, aren't you?" That's how economists talk. I tried to persuade her that I planned to pursue a career in public service, but she was skeptical. Having now spent all but 6 of my 28 years after law school in public service and hoping to spend the next 16 doing the same, I think it is fair to say that I have not profit maximized. After law school, I worked for a great judge and an even greater human being, Federal Judge Eugene Nickerson of the Eastern District of New York. It was while working for him that I decided I would like to become a judge. Every day, Judge Nickerson carved out a corner of Brooklyn where every person received a fair hearing and a fair shake, where every litigant and lawyer was treated with respect and dignity. He was blessed with great wisdom, but perhaps because he was so wise, he was willing to recognize the possibility that he might be wrong. He would encourage his law clerks to disagree with him if we thought a first draft of the decision was wrongly decided, telling us that if we voiced our disagreement, only 2 things could happen, both of them good. Either he would be right and he would be wrong, and he would be saved from making a mistake, or he would be right and we would be wrong, and he would be able to strengthen his decision by clarifying the points that had confused us and by adding the points that had persuaded us. After clerking for Judge Nickerson, I served as a special assistant to Judge William Webster, who was then the director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Judge Webster taught me the importance of rigorous analysis